Possible Jauan Jennings won't play. He's having a hell of a season. Big shoes to fill. If he doesn't play against the Chiefs, I mean, this guy was money in the Super Bowl. Who should play more than they normally do? Who should fill in the gap?
Eric Saubert.
I like that. I like that very much. Why?
Because I think the Niners need to commit to the run game more. And also they need to lean into what Brock does very well, which is what his elite trait is, which is processing, being able to get the ball out quick, get the ball to short, intermediate passes, which, to be honest with you, is an extension of the run game, right? So for me, I just think that having Eric Saubert in the game gives you another willing blocker, right? He does bring a level of physicality to the game that I think the Niners need to start tapping into more. Also, it's week 7, which means that I don't think that we're necessarily in shape yet. We're kind of there, right? We're at the quarter pole of the season, but I'd like to carry on with that. I think Eric Saubert brings a lot of tenacity on the edges, and it's an opportunity for us to really hold the Chiefs by the belt buckle and keep them in close. I mean, this game is going to be fought in the phone booth, so we might as well own it right away. So Eric Saubert is my guy.
It's a great pick. I'm going to respectfully push back and nominate someone else, but I think this is a great one. Eric Saubert. Anytime you could play Eric Saubert 50 snaps, 60 snaps, you want to do that for obvious reasons. Like, he's such a good blocker. And I mean, just having him on the field as a threat goes a long way. But I would say someone in that same vein, but I think it's an even better player because he's more versatile. Like, he can block, but he can also go in motion. He can go left to right, right to left. I think Kyle Juszczyk, he's a guy who normally plays 50, maybe 60% of the snaps. I think this is an opportunity for him to play 100% of the snaps. You know, I mean, I don't think they should ever take him off the field because their offense is just impossible to stop when he's out there. I mean, he is the element that you can't stop. He's the X factor. And just his presence alone opens up everything in the run game, play action, drop back. I mean, morale, confidence. I think this is a great opportunity to have more Kyle Juszczyk on the field.
I would agree. I mean, my thing is that if you understand what I'm saying is that the reason why I want Eric Saubert on the field is because I know George Kittle will be on the field with him, right?
I love that.
Not Eric Saubert alone, but me knowing that Eric Saubert is on the field is knowing that the Niners are going double tight, the Niners are going overload, the Niners are going veer. They're using a lot of their physical big formations that I love that they do because it forces these guys to get the best out of them. Sometimes, you know, this sounds inhumane, but when I played, you know, if you were an offensive lineman and you couldn't keep your hands together, your hands would get tied together. You see what I'm saying? And it sucked. It was horrible, but it forced you to keep those palms in, right? Where you had to go through a whole period with your hands tied. And sometimes you got to tie these guys into process. You got to tie them there and make them do it, okay? And then once you untie it and kind of loosen up, at least they know how to do it. And I just think that they need to get tied into a lot more physical formations that forces them to play football a certain way.
How about this? First offensive play of the game. Here's a personnel grouping. Kittle at tight end. Saubert at tight end, off the ball. Juszczyk at fullback. Debo at running back. Jordan Mason, that awful fumbler, on the bench. Ayuk at wide receiver. 22 personnel. What do you think of that?
I think that's horrible.
Because to me, like Jordan Mason, like anyone could run in the 49ers offense. And this guy is the only reason they lost to the Cardinals a couple of weeks ago, because he fumbled. No one else made mistakes in that game. It was 100% his fault. Mm-hmm. He is definitely the only reason they've lost any games. And I think you take him off, put Saubert on there, keep Juszczyk on there, Debo at running back. I like that. I think that really, if you're looking at the true hidden weapon on this team, is Kyle Juszczyk at X. Yeah, no doubt.
where it really is gonna that's I mean, honestly, you know, you think about the money that they pay him and you say, God, $5 million for a fullback that barely plays, like that's not enough. But we've been looking at this all wrong.
Yeah.
The $5 million is for not putting him in all of the best opportunities on what he could be, right? So it's an apology that we're paying him this money because we know, and Kyle knows, Juszczyk that is, if he was at X, he'd be getting $30 million. If he himself was at left tackle, he'd be getting $30 million a year.
Yeah.
The least we can do is lighten his load and pay him for the load that he has, right? So, I mean, look, Kyle Juszczyk, man, he's a freak athlete. He's a freak athlete.
He's arguably the best athlete on the team.
Arguably.
Yeah. Excuse me. That's on me. See, I slip back into old patterns sometimes.
Yeah,
he's
and
for sure the best athlete on the team.
What it really gets into is that's why a guy like Kyle Juszczyk goes to Harvard. I mean, Can you imagine if that type of talent was at Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson? Like,
it would have been too easy. He would have been scouted and everyone would have known, but he wanted to take the hard way.
Come on, bro. Kyle Juszczyk would be the number one pick in the draft, right? And that's all she wrote. He's really just trying to live a life of modesty, humility, right? And you know, I feel like he's found a good place to do that at fullback. It's the least he can do.
And it's like not just more snaps for Juszczyk, more targets, more carries. Like that's your go-to guy. Remember when Rob Gronkowski a couple of weeks ago said the Niners don't have an it guy? Baloney. His number is 44. His name is Kyle Juszczyk. He's just been held back. And I'm not going to criticize Kyle Shanahan here. You thought I was going to say Kyle Shanahan no. He's been held back by circumstance.
Yeah.
For years. It's no one's fault. No one is at fault. Everyone has done the right thing. And the fact that Juszczyk hasn't gotten the ball is just one of those things. And now he's getting the ball. It's going to be good for the offense. But if he doesn't get the ball, it's good for the offense too. Either thing is good for the offense.
How gracious is Kyle Juszczyk the way he reaches out to the media and the fans? Oh, I mean,
goes without saying.
You know, politics is in his career down the road.
Oh my goodness. And yet he's so authentic. Fish and Chip says, I personally have won 9 Super Bowls. Kyle Shanahan not beaten me. I believe it. M. Bravo says, does Kyle know the overtime rules now? Excuse me? That is such a hot take with no verifiable evidence. He said, hold on. Did he not say he knew the rules? He said he knew the rules.
Yeah.
He said he knew the rules. So that means he knew the rules.
If there's rules, Kyle knows them.
Yeah. And if he didn't, he would have said so. Fish and Chip says, I want to see No Juice do long snapper and punt. You think he can't do that? And why would you call him No Juice? I don't understand.